Hey guys, this is Bruce Marshall from Simpler Trading with the nightly video update for Wednesday, January the 23rd. And we had a pretty choppy day today, not too much going on. I've got the S&P up here. We'll start there and take a look. So today we had a gap up overnight after a very boring drifting lower day yesterday, and we gapped up here. Notice this is a fire line here at 2650, and we came right up into that and actually went through it a little bit, and I thought we probably were on our way here. And I don't know if there was a tweet, I haven't even looked, there was some news or something. I've seen so much China's on, China's off, that kind of thing back and forth. And then we have, the government shutdown and all that stuff too as well. And then we got the Fed in the back. It's coming up next week, so we have to be careful. So anyway, after we came up here and we kind of broke through this fire line and then just kind of rolled over and spent the, half the day. This is, until almost lunchtime, just drifting lower, 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 got down here. Now this is a skyline. So we got a fire line up here, skyline down here. We didn't get to it, we got close to it. Immediately started coming back up and just came up all day, and guess what, at the end of the day we're kind of about where we started. That's been happening so much over the last couple of months. Have these pretty wild, violent moves, and then intraday, and then end up at the same spot. Now this wasn't that violent, but it's a pretty decent move top to bottom here. So let's back out here, and if you guys remember from last week's video, we were talking about this pattern here, and I said that off this low, this was the Christmas Eve sell-off, and then the immediate, the Powell put off of the tree line right here. We kind of went through a little bit. These aren't always exact, but we came up here, and I told you guys in the video last week, I said 2650 is the fire line, and I said, I think it was last Wednesday, I said I think we'll be there by Friday. We hit it. Not only did we hit it, we actually went through it, we poked through it right there, and I said at this point I would want to short it, and start shorting or hedging at this point. And it kind of sort of worked out that way, kind of. As you can see, we went through this actually pretty easily. And so this kind of worked like I thought, and we are coming off of it kind of like I thought, but it's not how I thought it was going to play out. I really thought that we would probably not even get to it, and then fail this way pretty quickly. Right now we're just kind of chopping a little bit lower, so that gives us a big question mark as far as, from this point, do we continue this down, or do we resume this, break through this, and keep going up to whatever our next levels are up here? And I don't really know. I don't have a good feel for it. I've had a pretty good feel for this in the last several weeks, but I don't at this point, because we could go either way. And the reason we could go either way is, of course, we're in this hyper news driven market. With the China news and the government shutdown, what's going to happen there, so forth. And next Wednesday, the 30th, is Fed meeting. So what will happen is that everyone is going to be looking at every word that they say well, they're actually not going to give a press conference, but they'll be looking at the language to see if they are really truly dovish, or if Powell has just been talking a lot of talk and not going to walk the walk at the actual rate meeting. Now, I'm not expecting any kind of rate, and this is not a rate change meeting, but again, if the market does not like what the Fed says, we kind of better look out below, because I think, in my opinion, the bulk of this, a lot of it's from China, but the bulk of this is from the Fed. The Fed did this, and the Fed did that. This is when Powell came out, whenever he came out and said, that they're going to keep raising as much as they want to and all that kind of stuff. And then they came back and said, no, we're going to be a lot more careful to raise rates and so forth. Anyway, so the market better like what he has to say. If they do, I think the bulk of any reaction on the upside is already priced in. I don't see a move like this off of the Fed unless they do even more dovish than they have been saying, and I don't see that happening. Again, if the market does not like what they're saying, our first stop's there, 25.40, and then who knows. But at the same time, we have got Apple and Amazon both next week. Now we already know Apple's going to be weak, but Apple sold off a lot, so yeah, maybe there's a bounce there or something. I don't know. But Apple reports on Tuesday, Amazon reports on Thursday, so that is the two of the bigger dogs of the pack or whatever. So definitely expect some movement next week probably. And if you've got a lot of profit, I'm planning on I've got quite a few things with profit in them right now. I'm planning on scaling out and probably trying to be kind of flat by next Wednesday. The Fed meeting is at 1 o'clock Central, so I'm going to try to take profit in. I'm not going to go to cash and run to the hills and all that kind of stuff, but I've got things that I have profit in or don't want to have a lot of directional risk. I'm gonna really lighten up and really consider that. So that is my take on what's going on right now. Again, we've got some pretty big things coming up next week, so be careful. Again, as far as price targets, I just really don't know. We could go either way for any number of reasons. There's not a lot of correlation or method to the madness of what's going on in the market right now. But I do know off this low, that's such a big move that I think we could give some back. But I was thinking that earnings are going to keep driving us, assuming earnings are good, and that's the other big unknown right now at this point in time. So all that being said, let's stay light and nimble ahead of the Fed next week on Wednesday and take some profit if you've got it. Wouldn't probably hurt to maybe put a little bit of hedging on ahead of that. And with that, let me wind it up. I hope this is helpful. And I will see you guys next Wednesday night for the grand reveal of what the Fed said, and we'll see what happened to the market over that period of time and go from there. So thanks for the time, and I will talk to you guys soon.